So, I don't know if that's introduction music to the Tiv Chaim. If that's the right music. I just am experimenting with it. It's a little fun. Tiv Chaim is a pirush of the Otzrot chaim, which are the words of the Holy Ari himself. I want to say that if you're aroused to learn the Ari, and you can get into it and enjoy it for what it is, it's a big thing. Let's go over here. I've made a few errors. So let's say in terms of, I think I got lost there for a while. This is I believe, the 10th shir. This is the 10th shir in the Otzrot chaim. So let's go on, and we're discussing what's happening with this letter Aleph. There's this letter Aleph out there, which is a issue. And I'm not sure exactly how my experiment is working here, but let's see what goes on. So he said, Ve'elu hashnei vavim. We say the vavim that are coming out of the nose of Ak. He bechinas hatamim emseim. They are the aspects of the middle tamim. Shebe'em sechateva, that you find in the middle of words, or between words. Ve'hem, the two of them that they're talking about, one of them is psak. I guess I'm supposed to be reading up above, so let me read it again. So the vavim that are coming from the nose of Erikampen, of Ak, Adam Kadmon, they're in the form of a vav. And the two of the names of them are the Psak and the Makif. So they're in between words like that, in between sentences. So the way that we show the Psak, Vav, is really in the form of a Vav, which is a vertical letter. This is the Vav that we had talked about before, that is part of the letter Hey. Shenipsaka, what happens is that after the level of the ear, there's more formation, it's more physical, and therefore we see that the concept of a hapsek, of an interruption, or a separation, that's more like it. V'na'asis levav alofim kaniskar, and you see that this vav, which is coming out of the nose, can actually be divided down into 6 different alephs, as we had said previously. So there's another type of tam, which are called the middle tam, and again, they appear in the middle between words. You're gonna take that psak and you're gonna put it together with the makif, heim surah sadal, because the makif is really a dash. It's a horizontal line. Now you have a vertical line, and you have a horizontal line. Bihoras o sadal. This shows you that now between these two tamim, the middle tamim, you create the concept of the daled shal os ha-hey, which is a part of the letter Hey. So let's come over here now, and we got to go way down to the bottom first, and then we'll come back up. It says shtei osios, these 2 letters, and we're just reading the Tiv Gavonos now. He says Tiv Chaim rather. Now I got mixed up. He said, so these letter 2 vavs that are coming out of the nose, shehem ha'oros ha'mekifim v'ha'panimium. So he reteaches this lesson, that the lights that come out of the nose are 2 different types, one on the right side of the nose and the other one on the left side. Hayotzen mizgalim besok shnei nikveh ha'itim. These oros, the makif and the panimi, are seen. There are mizgalim and revealed inside of the 2 nostrils of the nose. So this particular concept of these vavs is the concept of these tamim, the middle tamim. Just a fact. Let's say, for example, let's take the tam which is called a psak. Now, when you see this, as you're learning the Torah, and if it exists over there in the teaching guides, shuhu kav ma'unach, it is a kav which is placed in between. It's a blocker. Hamapsik bein shtei tevos, which divides or splits off 2 different words. In other words, stop at this place and it's a vertical line. That really looks like a vav. O atam and nikra makif. Now there's another one which is also in that line. Now he's showing us also, interesting, that the letter Vav can move around a little bit. It could be inclined toward the right or the left, or it could actually go sideways and become either vertical or sideways, is what he's telling us. O atama nikra makav. Now there's another one, shetzurasa kakav ma'oizin kakav mu'uzin ha'mechaber bein shtei tevos, which in other words, it's between the two, which I think that word is supposed to be ma'unach, but I think it's a mistake. So in other words, it's placed between two words in order to join them together. Kazeh. And it looks like this. It looks like this sideways vav, right? So it's a vav on the side. It's also a vav, but it's a vav on the side. Now we're going to take these two vavim. Remember, somebody said there's two vavim over here, and it's represented by the tamim emseim, the middle tamim. So now the psak teaches you about the vav part of the letter hey, which is now coming out of the nose. Shazu havav nipsekis, because this vav, nipsika, rather, it's split off. V'nechlecha l'shisha alofim, and is divided into 6 olives. Now, that's what he wants to tell us. He says the fact that this psak is there is to say to stop and let me tell you something. That this vav actually represents that there is a split within the line itself, and there are 6 olives in it. Now, the significance of this, I'm not sure that I understand, but I'm looking for it. So, Ravihine Oz Dalet Shebehe, now there's a part of the Hey is the letter Dalet. Kululagam Hi B'Shnei Kavim Echad Ba'orek Ve'ech Ba'Rochav. So now we describe a little about the Hey that had to do with the vav, and now we understand that. And now we come over and we'll look at the Dalet, because the Dalet is made up of the middle tamim. So he said, which one is sideways and the other one's vertical. Kululaghi B'Shnei Kavim Echad Ba'orek, one is vertical, Ve'echad Ba'Rochav, and one is horizontal. Shetsurosam he kamakef v'psak. So they look actually like these middle tamim that we now have in this world, where they're using their musical notes, and they affect the music of the cantillation of the Torah. So when you put this psak, which looks like this, a vertical line, yachad in a makaf shuhu kazer, together with the makaf, which is like this, it's a horizontal line. Hare heim mitztarfin, then they come joined together. Mashlimet lebenois os daled kazer. And you put them together, and you have a horizontal line and a vertical line coming together, and the mechuber, they make another letter, the letter Dalet. So what's he showing us here? He's showing us really creation of letters out of light. How exactly? Well, got to keep learning. Amnam na os valad vav shebehe. So the vav that was part of the hey, nisgalse b'chaytim. Now this is the fact that we have to. The Rab wants to keep saying this fact over and over again. It's revealed in the nose. V'nechlecha l'shish alofim, and it's divided into 6 alofim, as we said before. Aka os daled no nisgalakan. But now, even though that we have the beginnings in the middle tamim of the horizontal and vertical lines, and that would come together and make a daled, but it hasn't done that yet. Or if it's done it, it's still hidden. Because there is a little bit of a remez to the fact, but now we have the concept that you can make a dalet of it, and that's to tell you that the real secret is in the fact that the dalet represents 4 olives too. Now exactly that means that the aleph is panimi to the letter. And once again, for the Fleischmann point of view, it's a little bit difficult to understand all of this. So let's go on and let's read a little more. And when I say to understand it, it's from my point of view, it's exactly where does it apply. He wants to say that hidden inside of these letters, in the vav, for example, are 6 olives. The olives are in the form of the nose. Now we know from other places that the concept of the nose is the concept of ruach, because it breathes, right? So we see that later as we go along. I'm trying for myself to understand what is the importance of us knowing at this point that the vav is created with 6 vav, and the psak, he tells you this too. He says that the psak teaches us that the vav it has separations in it, 6 different ones that hide olives in it. What's the significance of that for the overall picture of coming close to our Kodesh Baruch Hu? I'm not 100% sure. That's why I say that. Now let's see if we can read. Boy, this is a big piece coming up now. So I think that we should read the top part, and we'll just spend a little bit more time, and then we'll go into it with the Tiv, and we'll spend some time on it to be able to understand exactly. This is Kabbalah that you are looking at right now, and as you are learning this, if you're listening to this year, what's happening is that you're creating, or is created by you, a connection to the Most High. We're not the Most High. We're at the Most Low. So it's a big deal to be able to listen to a shir like this, to be able to learn a shir like this, and for me, it's like live. So here we are up here when it said Vihine. Let me see if I got it. There we go. We're on page Kafet. Vihine Adala Dazo. So this dollar that we're talking about, Kavar Biarno, we've already explained La'el She'en and Nepsekis. It doesn't get divided up. Amlim Yesho Ra Acheres Alecha, but there's another thing that can be seen when you look at it. V'hu ki ka'asher tikach ha'hei she'ba'oizin yomim. So he says that when you take the hay that's in the right ear, so let's talk about the right ear, which is the Or Makif. Shemispara Eser Spheros, that it has actually in that right ear there are 10 Spheros. Kenizker La'el, which we mentioned up above. Now what's going to happen to those 10 Spheros? Yud Acha. So therefore you see over there by the ear, you have this hay, but it's a concept of one Yud, because Yud is the number 10, and there's 10 Spheros. V'titzarfeno, and then you have to mix it, v'techabreno in a hay, with the letter hay, ima hay. Where's the hay located? The hay it's located, shebeneked yemini shalachaytim. So we said before, it's located, the hay is located now in the right nostril of the nose. And over there, the form of that hay looks like a dalet and a vav. And we said earlier that the dalet is hidden. It is there, he says. But the dalet is hidden, but the vav is seen. Keniska, the ale. Hareha kol chitzuris yud vav dalet. So he says if you want to really look at it, so you have the yud, which represents the 10 spheros, and then you have the vav, which is actually the concept of the nose. But it has a mate, which is the dalet. And if you take yud, which is 10, you take vav, which is 6, and you take zalad, which is 4, so you have 1 10, and then you have another 10. So in other words, this is the basic 10, and this is the 10 broken down, because you could break it down. Now, if you don't normally do this and this kind of thinking, well, this is the thinking that the Rav wants you to hear. There's a music here. We're talking about the middle Tamid. V'hutzir Aleph, and it really comes out, you can make this into an Aleph, but it's a different kind of an Aleph. So, Aleph Achas Kazeh. So it is a Yud on the top and a Vav, which we said we could turn it sideways. Or we could turn it diagonally, and then there's a little Dalet at the bottom. Shetzaraso is Yud Vav Dalet. So now it comes to a form of a Yud Vav Dalet, but it's also an Aleph. And I would tell you that there's a synagogue here in Boca Raton that I went to, and there's a lot of artwork on the wall. And one of the pieces of art is this Aleph with Aleph, which is Yud Vav Dalet. Not that anybody there knew what it was, or why it was there, or what does it do, but that's there in the synagogue. So we have representations of this. V'gam im tikach ha-yud shebenekev oizen. So let's say you take the yud in the right ear. Let's say im tikach ha-yud shebenekev in the hole of the ozen small. Now take the yud that's in that. V'chabreno im vav dalet, and you put it with the vav dalet shebenekev chaytim small, which is what you see over there. It's like a broken down hay that you see over here in the left nostril. Remember, the vav is revealed in the nose, and the dalet is not. But that's there anyway. It's in the left nostril. Then you have this. This is this yud with this diagonal vav and the dalet. That's the second one. So now we have two different kinds of olives that we never talked about before. Shetziyuram, really, that the form is Yud Vav Dalet. Vim Tetzayir B'tzir Acher. So let's say you do it another way. There's another way you can make an an aleph. V'hu shetikach yud shel ozen small. So take the yud, which represents the 10 spheros of the left ear. Uvav shel nekev chotim small, and also the vav that's in the opening of the nostril, the left nostril. The yud shel ozen yumonis, and then go to the right ear. Take the yud over there. Then what you have a high yud vav yud. That'll make yud vav yud, and we'll have to understand the transfer over here. Shetzorazo yud vav yud. That's another kind of aleph, and that's what this aleph looks like. V'gam tikach yud shel ozen yamin, and even if you take the yud from the right ear, and then you take the vav shel neket chaysev yamim, so we're moving from the right ear, now we're going to the right nostril. The yud shel ozen small, and then there's a yud representing once again the 10 spheros of the left ear. Hare, you have this aleph again. This is aleph shni. It's another kind of aleph. It's a second aleph. It's just here where that has a form of yud vav yud. V'hare shnei alafim b'tzir yud vav daled. So now you have 2 alafim that look like yud vav daled. Ubeis alafim that look like yud vav yud. Now this is a formation and creation. Way before the stars. Way before the understanding of the galaxy. Hare daled alafim. So you have 2 alafim here. V'hei moras al katzaz gilui hadaled shal hei shebechotim sheniglas ma'at. So he said these are really showing you about a little bit of the daled that's inside of the letter hey, which is now found in the hotim, and we say that what happens is that it splits into a vav and a daled that you can't see, and here's a reference to the fact that the daled is there because it's part of the aleph system that's in the nose. Nigles the gamri, but it's really not completely and totally shown. Like, for example, the vav. In other words, we said previously that it's hidden. This daled has not appeared yet. So, so he said, so where do we actually see now all the 3 letters? The yud, the vav, and the daled. Hulamata ba'oras is down below. Down below when we come to the place of the lights that in the mouth, because the mouth has only one opening and everything congeals there. This is the concept of malchus peh. In other words, everything flows to malchus. In this case, it's the mouth. We're going to explain this. Be'ez Hashem. Okay, that's the shir in the Otzrot chaim today. I think this is shir number 10. And we're going to come back to it because we can see that there's a lot of complication here, a lot of pieces that we have to put together. What's shot over here with these olives? We said before that there were 6 olives inside of the vav and 4 olives, but they're hidden. There's a remes to it inside of the daled. But, these are olives. Olives are beginnings. I don't know. Maybe it means the energy, the aleph itself is a tremendous energy. I'm not sure. I'm speculating. This is Baruch Flashman at the Tikkun Elevator Call-Up.